What it is a giant sculpture that's going to go into, was it Columbia Gorge State Park? Yeah.
Yeah, formerly Horse Thief State Park.
Lake. Yeah.
They changed the name. I'm not sure to what.
Yeah, Columbia Gorge. Yeah. And so what it is it's a memorial site for our lost fishermen along the river. And I think it's well overdue since we have been here for so long. And, you know, we have lost a lot of people into the river, and it happens every year. But I think it's time for us to be represented as well, since the whole fishing culture and native fishing culture is such a big thing here. And it's represented to a certain extent, but I believe that it should be put into something like this, like a big art project for our fishermen.
Well, I'm happy to report, Toma, that last year nobody was lost on the river for fishing.
Well, that's good.
All last season, I think that might have been the first time that's happened.
Yeah, maybe because I didn't fish last year.
Maybe. Well, I know CritFic has really been pushing to all the fishermen and women, wear your life vests, be prepared when you go out there. And in a lot of the losses have been people who didn't wear their life vests, simple as that. So there's been more emphasis on that. They're providing money for people to get the life vests. So CritFic has seriously taken on this accident prevention. I'm glad they did.
Well, that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, because it worked out last year. It was very good that we didn't lose anybody.
Yeah.
And I know that you're involved in the Confluence Project, too, which is working with the world-famous artist Maya Lin.
Yeah, I haven't met Maya Lin yet, but what I do in my job is I go to all these different schools, and we do drawing workshops, and we've been painting murals. And so the first school I went to was Dallasport, and we did cutouts of big fish and just painted wild stuff all over these fish, and they were going to hang them on the fence. And the thing is, like, within these schools, you know, there's a lot of budget cuts.
Oh, yeah. And mostly cutting art programs.
Yeah, and that's what happens is, like, they cut these art programs and the music programs. And these kids, you know, that's, you know, their outlet sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the way they can express themselves. And when they cut that out, you know, they're missing out on a lot of that. And it makes it, you know, a little bit more harder for them to go to school. And when I get to come in and work with them, we get to do paint. And we get to play and talk about artists and everything. And I've watched, you know, the artists awake out of a lot of these kids.
Great.
Yeah, and it's pretty amazing to watch these kids. Like, and none of them wants to go back to math after that. Like, I'd rather hang out and paint. And tell jokes and all that.
Yeah, something that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
Well, where are you going? What school are you scheduled to go to next?
I am going to Hood River and Doofer. Yeah, and I just got done with White East Middle School, and I worked in Hood River High School real quick too for a day. Did a drawing workshop.
How'd it go?
It was good. There was a kid there that was a fisherman too, and like immediately we just connected and started talking about fishing and people on the river. And I think his name was Anthony. Yeah, Anthony. And then we just hung out and like he was excited. Like took pictures together and everything. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was fun.
Well, and now how is this through Oregon State, or how did you get involved in that project? Is that
That's Confluence as well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's Confluence.
Yeah. And for people who don't know, the Confluence Project, Maya Lin is putting installations up and down the river. One that I'm familiar with that she put in at Sacagawea Park, just outside of Pasco, downriver from Pasco, Washington, with interpretive messages in stones on the ground. She also did a beautiful bird viewing platform at the mouth of the Sandy River. They've got proposals for other projects all up and down the river. Some have been completed, like there's a fish cleaning station in Astoria that has symbols and writings on the stone that were relevant to the people in that area. What am I missing, Tom? What other projects have they done like that?
They're working on getting her a big one into Celilo, and which is like a bridge that's going to be coming out toward the water, and it's supposed to represent, I guess, the fishermen and the dip nets as well.
Scaffolding?
Yeah. Oh. But it looks like a bridge. It's coming out. It's pretty intense. Pretty cool.
And it just ends right out over the water.
It does. It just stops. Like, all right, yeah.
Well, I know it seemed like the Celilo was going to be the biggest of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Up and down the river. Celilo is going to be the major installation.
Yeah, indeed. That's going to be a good one.
And what other projects are you involved in right now, Toma?
Let's see. Over the summer, I was involved in some painting projects that took place in Limbe, Haiti. And
wow.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. We flew into Dominican Republic and hopped a bus and took it into Haiti. And what the idea is to bring art and art supplies to the kids there that don't have it. They can paint. There's a lot of artists there, but they don't have access to art supplies. They have to travel to go get it. And so what we did is I worked on a team with other artists, Posey, I forget her last name, and my friend Miles Brown. And we went there and did drawing workshops and came up with an idea to put a mural on this wall. And what we ended up painting was the word Limbe, the name of the town. And, you know, it brought a lot of life to the town. When I came into the town, it's just bare walls. And it looked pretty depressing. And then we got to splash some colors on the walls and put like these graffiti-esque letters into the community and work with the kids. And then they actually got to continue painting murals after we left. And so we got to show them how to, like, the techniques of it and the breakdown, and to show them how to put it onto the wall and then fill it in.
Great.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
Well, how did you happen to get involved? What group was it that sent you down there?
I worked with a group called Helping Hands Normies, and the one who runs it is a friend of mine. Her name is Rose Denny, and she's the one working on that program down there.
So if we wanted to get involved, is it still ongoing?
It is, and what she does is she works with the community a lot, trying to educate people of sanitation and growing trees, and she's got a couple like really good programs going on right now over there.
Good. Yeah, Haiti has just been devastated ever since Dick Cheney overthrew the last government that was established democratically in Haiti. And so they're back to a dictatorship now, aren't they? Yeah,
and you know, it's just the economy too. It's just, it needs a lot of help. And there's a lot of things that we actually do that disable them a lot. Like, you know, we send a bunch of rice down there, like piles and piles of rice. And they actually grow rice. And so what it's doing is putting the rice growers out of business because they can't compete with this rice that's been donated. And it's not being donated, it gets resold in the markets. And so it's kind of, yeah.
So it's doing more harm than good.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that, they need like a better economy, and like they need money flowing through their economy.
Yeah.
So well, Toma,
I'm glad you did that.
What kind of, you know, what got you into doing this stuff? You know, what kind of inspired you to do it?
My art?
Yeah.
Well, I think in the beginning, I first started drawing dinosaurs. And from there, it kind of moved forward. As I got older, I got really interested in graffiti. And I'd look at tags on the wall, and I'd kind of visualize who they were. It's like, who is this? Who wrote that? When did they write that? What do they look like? Why did they do that? And from there, it just kind of moved forward into looking at more graffiti art and painting on trains and doing graffiti art myself and graffiti as well. And then from there, like, I became pretty biased and thinking that graffiti and that was the only way to go until I got to college. And I finally got to pick up a paintbrush. And I got to express more things. And then I got into iron casting. And I got to see how much is out there. And then from all this, I get to travel. I get to go to England and get to go to New York, or I get to go wherever, Minnesota, and to do all these iron pours or to do paintings.
So it's definitely benefit you from now instead of sent it home drawn in the sketchbook. You know,
well, that's good stuff too, because drawing in your sketchbook gets your thoughts out, and you gotta. That's where you start, your sketchbook. And I'm definitely, come a long way from some kid walking the street scribbling on your walls at night, and now it's, more about the art, and it's the stuff that feels good. And mainly what it is, it's, being a better representative for myself and for my kids, because, if it wasn't for my kids, I don't know where I'd be. And I gotta really say that, like, they are my legacy, and with that, I'm gonna continue on just because of them.
Yeah, so your artwork just basically keeps you busy from doing other things that maybe are not so good. I mean, well, I mean, just kind of keeping you
it definitely busy. Definitely spawned something, and it had to start somewhere. And it started with something that maybe, a lot of people don't like, with graffiti, but it definitely put me onto a path where I needed to go.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of kids out there that, they're very interested in this graffiti art, but they can move forward. And if they can find a higher education and find more art, there's a lot for them out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a graffiti artist on our show. I think this was before Adam was around. Andrew Morrison.
Yeah.
Ziploc.
Yeah.
And he showed us his name, his Ziploc name that he did in graffiti art. And, you really have to look to see where the zip is in there mixed in with the lock. So you can read the name if you're used to looking at graffiti art. And I was wondering if we would still see your name in graffiti art anywhere.
No.
No? Okay. Definitely not.
He's not admitting on camera.
We'll talk about it later.
On live television. Cops are right now watching.
That's right.
They're watching. They're eating the hot dog right now. They're going, hey, this guy is...
I think they're waiting out in the studio now.
They're checking our Facebook pages, too, as we talk.
Next topic.
Yeah, well, graffiti art, I think, is a good place to start for some kids, because they learn how to express themselves, and then they can move on, like Andrew is doing huge murals now.
Yeah.
Fantastic pictures of black and whites that are just incredible.
Yeah, and I got to paint at not Salilo, but Naya Family Center over the summer, and I did a massive mural that's about, I believe, 70 feet long and about 12 feet tall. And wow. It took a long time. I think I put like a good 15 solid days on it, like good long days, and with helpers on top of that.
So that's where you can see his work for free, at the Naya Family Center.
Yeah, it's where they have the basketball courts in the back.
Great.
Yeah, he did one at Mount Hood Community College too, a mural. Not a mural, but what do you call it?
It's a mural.
It's a mural. Yeah, I was thinking like murals like big, but it's pretty big by the staircase back in the cafeteria. And that's his work.
And also, I have one in Warm Springs on the Macy's Market. And the whole thing about murals is, like, as I'm working on them, there's a lot of things that happen. But, like, when I'm done with it, I feel like I'm done. But the community takes ownership over it. And they feel like, this is for us. And I painted a couple pictures of an elder. And there was someone that called me up or got a hold of me one day and was like, I was having a horrible day. And I sat in front of the store and I looked at my auntie's picture for an hour, and it changed her whole day around. And so there's people that'll defend that wall. And, yeah, because they take ownership in it, because it's in their community.
Yeah. Well, I was down there not too long ago. Macy's, is that the one right on the highway there in Warm Springs?
No, it's right down the hill from there, right behind that.
It's a little mini mark there. Oh, we actually we went to the powwow in Payumsha, and we went down there and we saw Tom out there messing around, fingers all black, and we went over there. Got some like, what are you doing?